Hello, Tamers. Today's episode is something a little bit different. We don't normally do here. It's not really a card advice thing. Essentially, it's going to be more for people who are just coming to the game as a fresh new blood. Hello, welcome. We do enjoy our new people here. We actually do. We do like having new people here because it keeps the game fresh, and not everyone's going to be miserably and moaning about things that they can't whinge or moan about. Fact being, BT9, is it new player friendly? Too long didn't read? No, it's not. It's not particularly friendly for new people. For those of you who actually want to have a full explanation of why I'm thinking this, stay around for a few minutes. Essentially, the reason why it's not is because it's a set that's going to be built upon old sets or old cards. It's a set that adds cards to cards. If you look at pretty much most of the decks here, besides I think maybe the purple yellow deck, which is like the weird like DNA Digivolving deck into level 7 DNA Digivolving. Looks weird. I mean, I think you play it like the Masty deck and then you add other stuff to stuff. So essentially, yeah, besides like the one deck in this whole set, you need to build essentially a whole brand new thing from existing cards outside of this one set. So pre-release, it will be probably very weird, probably quite cool, probably very different. You're playing essentially build a normal stack with cards that are kind of meant to be built in the middle of a stack. This set makes sense that you do want to do a pre-release for it because it's like this deck can't work perfectly well because I need to have like the old Agumons or the old Greymons or the Groundmons or the Gabumons or the Weregarurumons. Then we get the cool promo as well very soon in the cool BT9 boxes. But that's the thing. This is a weird set that doesn't make any sense to people who are playing from outside of the realms of what was going on. A lot of people have been looking forward to this set, probably have all their decks built, and they're just waiting for these few cards they want to add in and slot in to make these tower decks, as we all know what to call them, because it's an OTK meta, or it's a meta that should be an OTK meta. We'll see. We'll get there. We'll get there. OTK metas aren't really very friendly towards people who are new, because people who come into card games go, oh, I want to pick up this set, and I'll build a deck out of this set, and I'll see what I can do. But as I said, besides that weird yellow-purple DNA deck, that's kind of a thing. This set doesn't do that, which is really weird. I think a lot of people are going to be like very kind of like, oh, I joined in BT9, but I couldn't really start anything because I needed cards from other sets, but I couldn't get hold of those cards from other sets because we're 9 sets into a card game and there's no reprints for half of these things. And like I can't get hold of like the good Greymons, or I can't get hold of like Metal Garurumon that's now like $30 or $40, or there's this like BT1 Greymon that has like ADP attached to it, so it doesn't activate any option cards in security. But I can't get hold of it because no one's selling them. They're super cheap, but no one's selling them. And that's the issue people are going to have. It's like, oh, I want to play this card game with these cards, but I can't get hold of them anymore because you built a set 9 sets later, which essentially, if you're playing this correctly, would be nearly 3 years into the card game's life with minimal minimal reprints. So, new player friendly, not exactly. Is it going to be a fun set? Quite possibly if you like tower decks. If you don't like tower decks, come back in BT10. There's different decks there. That's going to be, like, to be honest, that's new player friendly in a sense of it's all new keywords, save, I think that's kind of the big one, save. And then everything else we have there is just these, was it like the Blue Metal Empire deck, you got the Lego deck, as I like to call it, which is a Shatmon deck. You've got the starts of the Bagra Army deck. But these are all decks that essentially just work off themselves. You don't really take things into it. Obviously, we have access to the Jesmon stuff. We get the new Jesmon deck that comes at the same time. Same with the Ragnar Lordmon deck. Rest in peace. He dies on arrival. We get the cool stuff, like the cool X-Antibody stuff that we haven't received from the last X-Antibody set. We're probably going to receive some more X-Antibody stuff in BT11. But obviously, don't know much about that at all yet, besides a couple of things that could be in there. So, if you're new and you want to get into Digimon, obviously, please join. We love new people. We think it's really good that you want to join us. Thank you for being here. But at the same time, if you aren't necessarily interested or invested into jumping into a card game, then don't come just yet. Join us in like a couple of months when we start doing like BT10, because that way, the few cards that you do need before, which is like this one Savior, Hookmon, maybe some Hookmons, and that's kind of about it, really. And some Systemons that are super cheap because they're rares, and like you can pick up a bulk lot of rares for like a couple of dollars in America or a couple of quid in the UK. Or if you really want to splash out and get yourself a nice alt art, I think they go for like £10 now rather than being like number 35 when Jesmon was this big scary deck that never really did anything because it's a high rollers fantasy deck, and most people roll Snake Eyes. So yeah, come back then if you're really interested in actually playing the game from the box. Pre-releases will be kind of weird, I think. Whoever gets a Mickey probably is going to win. But no, that's kind of it though. That is literally it. BT9 is not really new player friendly, not necessarily because of anything special. It's just if you walk in with no previous cards, you don't really get to play the tower deck game. Obviously, most things in Digimon from a European standpoint are relatively inexpensive. You can generally build any of these tower decks probably for less than £40 to £50, depending if you want alt arts or not. The only thing that could cause issue is the Greymons from the structure decks. Obviously, we don't have the new reprint of that yet. I think we're getting BT10 as box toppers, or like, what was it? One of 16 cards as a box topper in there. I can't remember if they're full or not. And you get the random chance of getting the new alt art Greymon. Fantastic, right? Not always. But there we go. That is how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Luckily, someone who's been here forever has the cards that they need, or at least a playset of cards, or multiple playsets of cards, or boxes and boxes of bulk that I'm going to give away to a local game store at some point when they actually open up the Digimon stuff. Da-da-da-da. But no. In all fairness, though, if you do want to be invested in some Digimon stuff, but you're not really interested in playing during the BT9 meta because you don't like tower decks, you don't have previous cards, you think going out and buying all this stuff is actually quite expensive, which can be. Again, I don't know what your budget is, I don't know what you're playing, I don't know your area, and I definitely don't know TCG Player. That is now owned by Channel Firewall. So, yeah, if you want to come, phrasing, and play with us, BT10 might be a better meta for you to get started, but don't take my word for it there. Go down to your locals, see what you can do. Not every locals is super massively competitive, but you're always going to find that one guy in the corner trying to net deck himself. An early restrictive list. So everyone's probably seen by now, or a day late, I did the little shorts, which was at least 14 seconds, just to let people know who didn't know at the time. Tommy's been restricted to 1, and it's always been restricted to 1. And that's kind of it. That's all we really know. We do know we're going to get 2 more. Sorry, Fraser. We're going to get another update in mid-August, so we should be getting more cards added to the restrictive and ban list, be it what it may be. A lot of people are asking for Def Xmon to be added to the list, as well as having Hidden Potential discovered on the list. Now, I don't disagree with either of those cards being on the list. Def X is just too generically too good, and shouldn't really be printed in a situation where it's just like, oh no, there's Tamers in the field, I guess I exist now, which is too generic for a card game like Digimon. And Hidden Potential discovered essentially is making it so green is in a weird state of everything has to cost a lot at the highest maximum level, while everything down below costs kind of little to nothing at all. Now again, there's nothing wrong with having a card type, especially if green is the type you want to do it with, where everything going from rookie to ultimate's like super duper cheap, because that's your thing, because obviously insects grow really quick, plants grow relatively quick, but obviously getting like to their peak adult stage, it takes a lot more energy, in this case memory, that's perfectly fine. Now, the issue you have though, is that you start making some broken ass green cards, because Bloomlore is pretty cool, and Hydra's pretty Hydramon that we get in EX3. Both are pretty cool Digimon. I really like them, I think they're really, really cool. But what we currently have for green's kind of shit. In the biggest dookie kind of way. Obviously, we've got Renders coming out in the BT9 meta for those of you who are in the rest of the world. This is essentially just a bit like, obviously, you guys have had pre-release already, you know what's going on. Grandis is kind of a cool card, and that is how that should be, really. It's just a cool card. OTK deck, the OTKs. Same with the red OTK deck. Same with the blue OTK deck. Same with the black OTK deck. Purple is technically also the black OTK deck, because obviously it's the purple into black and X antibody deck now, I guess, maybe. Yellow, I don't know what yellow does. It's technically the weird, if we still had hybrids, it'd be the perfect hybrid deck, but obviously now that Jet Silver's been knocked off her throne, it's now a weird build, lots of Rise Greymons, and then evolve into X antibody Rise Greymon, and then evolve into Shine Greymon, which is just what it is, but it's like, hello? It makes no sense to me, because it's not a OTK deck, as it should be. I've seen a lot of people playing the yellow version of the Rise Greymon, which is Shine Greymon, which is great if you want to wipe a board or something. But if you want to go for OTKs, you probably won't be running the red Shine Greymon that lets you, for every Tamer you have, you can hit for a security attack +1. And then you end the game with an Omnimon and go, ooh, look what happened. I hope Omnimon doesn't get hit on the ban list because it's been around for a very long time. It's a very good card. It ends a lot of games when it's winning. But yeah, there's not really a lot on the ban list I can think of right now that really needs to be sort of addressed in any sort of sense of the word addressed. People are asking maybe to look at Mikey from BT10. Obviously, that'd be a Japanese exclusive issue currently, and you don't really want to ban cards that are like 2 sets away technically when ban list gets announced. It will be 1 set when ban list gets announced. But you don't want to go into a set and go like, oh, we already know this card's getting banned the second we get it, which is, very bad way to sell your card games there, Bandai. I'm trying to think. I think Banner's the only card game I've ever known that's actually put a restrictive list up where it's like, you can play this for a week. But then it's down to 1. HTP. Argamon. I will forever miss you. At your peak interest. Thanks for being here. I'll be to get it swiftly, and we'll see you guys next time for hopefully something less than 3 weeks away. Children are wonderful, and sometimes they don't go to bed till 1 in the morning. You've got work at 6. So, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out, and stay safe. Bye-bye. Bye.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.